Fear, the intensely unpleasant emotion in response to perceiving or recognizing a danger or threat. I find instilling fear through video games and television can be quite effective, especially how the use of virtual reality headsets has become so prevalent within modern horror video games. It is terrifying to the core, and I don't know about you guys, but I totally struggle playing some of these horror games. Too spooky for me? No thank you. Now, comics on the other hand, I can tolerate. Yet interestingly enough, I didn't think the horror genre could be so profound and interesting until I discovered the work of James Tynion IV. His ability to craft thought-provoking and exciting stories in a comic book format with a twist of horror has been an absolute game changer for me. It is crazy difficult to compose an effective creepy tale within a comic book, especially as the one key element is always absent: sound. And yet, here we are, enjoying horror comic books today. Welcome back, my fellow comic book friends, to Comic Casper. This is another spoiler-free review. This time it is The Nice House on the Lake, the deluxe edition. So let's kick it. This lovely collected edition is published by DC Comics, their Black Label line, where they keep their Elseworld tales and all their mature stories. You know, all the good stuff for grown-ups. Seeing as this is a deluxe edition, it matches the dimensions of an omnibus and clocks in at 424 pages, collecting the entire series composed of 12 issues of The Nice House on the Lake. The collection retails at $49.99 US. The pages are matte and seem like nice quality, the kind you won't see through, and from what I can tell, the whole collection has glue binding. Given as this is a deluxe edition, it comes with all the bells and whistles you would expect, such as a cover gallery, sketches, character designs, and more. This is written by, you guessed it, James Tynion IV, who as of recently has changed the face of horror in modern comics. But you know what? I wouldn't class this horror. I mean, it has horror elements, but I think it taps into mystery more than anything else. If you guys don't know James Tynion IV, he has been responsible for bringing some high-quality comics in the last decade or so with the likes of Something is Killing the Children, House of Slaughter, The Department of Truth, the Sandman Universe Nightmare Country, World Tree, and more recently The Deviant. But he's also taken a lot of time to write some great superhero comics such as Detective Comics, Batman the Dark Knight himself, and speaking of dark, Justice League Dark. The misfit magic mix of Zatanna, Swamp Thing, John Constantine, you know, all the good stuff that goes bump in the night. Now for the artist, Alvaro Martinez. He has also worked with James in the past on Detective Comics, and he worked on Justice League Dark too. I would describe the art as coated with a layer of mystery. There's almost like this mild misty filter over the top of it. There is a great level of detail and color within the pages, but it feels like it is coated in a veil that gives us the subtle murkiness every now and then. I enjoyed my time with the artwork, thought it was suitable, the facial expressions were on point, and I could distinguish the characters quite easily with their unique traits, despite the large ensemble cast. I can tell the artist really pushed himself, giving us astonishing architecture and landscapes to marvel at, as well as the endless myriad of expressions depicted by our characters. As for the story of The Nice House on the Lake, I have to tiptoe very carefully and be as vague as I can, because all fun resides within the discovery. But here's a premise to get you started. A group of people are invited to a house, and they all know Walter well. They know him a little anyway. Some met him in childhood, some met him months ago, and Walter's always been a little off. But after the hardest year of their lives, nobody was going to turn down Walter's invitation to an astonishingly
breathtaking
house in the woods overlooking an enormous Sylvan Lake. It's beautiful, it's opulent, it's private, so a week of putting up with Walter's weird little schemes and nicknames in exchange for the vacation of a lifetime? Why not? So that's pretty much the beginning. As to what takes place from there, well, that's really up to you to figure out. Now, before you jump on the web or decide to run to your comic book store to pick yourself up a copy of this title, I need you to know that this great read is a slow burn, and I know that's not for everyone. Don't get me wrong, there are some exciting things happening throughout this series that just take you off guard. But as a whole, I did feel this was an experience designed for you to take your time and become intimately acquainted with the cast, getting a feel for their personalities, motivations, hopes and dreams, all that stuff that make us tick. Personally, I enjoyed my time with Nice House on the Lake. It takes its time to reveal its secrets, but it does so in a meaningful manner. It is apparent Tynan wants you to cement a strong bond with the cast so that meaningful outcomes have a greater level of impact. I would say this is a more approachable horror comic book for newcomers, as it isn't as visually unsettling as the other horror titles, and there is no background reading required. Now, what's also very interesting is that at the back of the collected edition it states, "This deluxe edition hardcover collects the entire 12-issue first cycle of the groundbreaking horror series," which can only mean one thing: there is more to come. And if this is an initial setup, then I think it's very fitting, and it would be great to see what Tynan will do with the narrative direction. From exceptional writing from multiple points of view and characters, incredible dynamics from the Lake House host, and some deliciously disturbing things to think about once all is said and done. I think it's safe to say every page is filled with something to capture the eye and imagination.